So here are your 3 spinal stabilizing exercises. You're going to follow along with me. We're going to do them real time, so listen to the pointers as we go along. I'll try to keep it short and sweet, and we're going to do it together. So first, we're going to be in our all fours position. We're going to begin with the exercise that's called the bird dog. So notice my shoulder and my elbow and my wrist are all making a straight line. I'm not too far out. From here, we're going to use our right leg first and our left arm first. So I'm going to begin with the left-legged movement, the right-legged movement, and notice it comes just a few inches off the ground. I'm going to pull my toes toward my head. I'm going to raise my arm up as high as I can. I'm going to make a fist as hard as I can, and I'm pulling these upwards and squeezing that line, beginning at my heel on my right, going all the way through the fist on my left. We're going to hold for about 10 seconds. Now, we're going to bring the left elbow and the right knee together, but notice the shape of my spine does not change. And we extend again. Notice again, the toes are just a few inches off of the ground, and I'm pulling up with that fist. Nice breathing through the movement. One more time with the elbow towards the knee, and back into position. And as I come out of the position, we're just going to go to the other side. This time we'll bring the left leg straight. The right arm is coming out and just a few inches off the ground. Again, I'm making that fist with the right hand and holding. About 8 to 10 seconds. 3 on each side as we move the elbow to the knee. Keep that spine stabilized. And our last one in, and back out. Hold for 8 to 10. Keep breathing. Keep the head looking down towards the floor, a nice neutral spine as we hold this position. Excellent. Now we're going to transition to our second exercise, which is the side plank. In this example, I'm going to have my left arm down. My left leg is going to be staggered behind my right. You can bring your hand into a couple different positions, either on the hip or across to the opposite shoulder. From here, I'm going to tighten the entire core as I press into the plank position. And again, we're going to hold for about 8 to 10 seconds. 3 on each side, holding here. Remember, these exercises are our spinal stabilizing exercises that Dr. Stuart McGill found were the best in stabilizing the spine, but also in protecting the spine, so we don't want to re-aggravate those symptoms you've got. Coming in for our second repetition, again, 8 to 10 seconds. And I'm just squeezing everything in here, making it tight. And our last one here, make sure you're breathing. And let's transition to the other side. This time the right arm is down. The left leg is going to be staggered behind the right. And I press up. Again, I can use a couple of different arm positions, either across the opposite shoulder, here on my hip, behind the head. You'll find that it's a different feeling for all of those positions. I like this one the best. And drop it down for just a second. And squeeze back up in. Make sure you're breathing. Try not to hold your breath. And our last time here. Good job. Now we're just going to go right onto our backs. And to start out with, I'm going to keep my left knee bent with my foot flat on the floor, and my right leg straight. This is what we call the curl up. Now there's a couple of very important things that you need to take note of. We're going to take both of our hands and slip them under our back here. Now this is designed to help you feel if your spine is flattening against the floor. We do not want to flatten the spine. We want to brace the spine in its natural curve. So the hands are there as like a motion detector, a pressure sensor. So I'm going to place my hands underneath my low back. And now just to kind of add to that tension, I'm going to brace my abs right here as we've done in the past. I'm also going to pull my elbows towards the ceiling. And now here is where the curl up actually happens. I'm going to imagine as if I'm just going to tuck my chin and my head is barely going to come off of the floor. So it might be difficult to see. I am not pulling my head up and forward. Very simply, tuck and hold. And I'm really squeezing my abdominal muscles through here, but I'm trying to keep the shape of my spine. So that slight chin tuck, and now we're just bracing, really squeezing those abs. Again, we're going to do about 8 to 10 seconds, 3 on each side. I'm going to drop down, catch my breath for just a second, reset everything, and curl back up. Now it's possible you may experience some neck pain with this as well, or some strain. And I want you to be mindful of how high you're lifting your head. It's really just a slight lift, and as you get better at this, that strain in the neck will start to diminish. You'll start to stabilize, and it'll become far easier. And here's our last repetition on this side. I set the spine, and the chin just tucks in. Really. Switching to the other side, I'm just going to move my right leg into that flex position, straighten out my left leg, and it's the same protocol. I'm going to brace, elbows come up. There's our chin tuck, holding for 8 to 10. Make sure you're breathing through this, but also really trying to focus on that squeeze and that stabilization. There's our first one. Let's reset. Barely tucking the chin, barely clearing the floor, really focusing on the squeeze, and breathing. Back down. Here comes our last one. And there it is. There you have it. That's the big 3. I'd like you to try to do these at least 2 to 3 times per day for at least the next 21 days. I also want you to keep in mind all of those other positions and activities that I want you to avoid, including any of those ab workouts.